Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the best podcast this side of the fucking moon, mate. Today, we're joined by a very special guest. Sadly, we don't have John. Something's come up, but he'll be here next week. So, you John fans, for those that everyone's got a favorite of the trio.
Bring back Jono.
The John stands. Today, we're joined by big man Liam Rouse. Say hello, mate.
Don't ever pronounce my surname like that again.
Is it actually pronounced like that?
How long have I been coaching you for and you don't know how to say my surname?
Is it Rolls?
Yes. I'm not an owl, bro.
Mate, I thought that was a nickname that you had. I thought like it was actually pronounced Rowls.
Oh god. Raoul Moat.
There weren't any roles on stage. Man was absolutely peeled.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Liam is my coach. He's been coaching for God, how many years has it been?
On and off, I think since lockdown, or just before lockdown, wasn't it? The first lockdown.
Yeah, I think that's when
you stopped for a bit because obviously, like I think financial situation with being a student and whatnot, and obviously the lockdown. Times were tough.
Yeah, man.
We're here.
And Liam's also just done his first show. He's done a couple shows.
Season, yeah. So first timers was 25th of September, Birmingham PCA. So I won that, and then I think it was three weeks later the finals. I think 3 weeks. That was fucking tough. That period between, it was fucking horrible. That was like the hardest part of prep, because it was like kind of in limbo, and you're like, right, I'm not really dieting. Yeah, we're gonna dig for a bit more condition, but it's just. And then I had my birthday in between as well, which was miserable.
Oh, yeah.
That was that was interesting. Not my best birthday. I'll just put it that way.
Play, man. Luke, did you want to bring on some questions for the Liam Meister, or do you want me to take it away? I'm easier.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Have you got questions for me? How's it working?
We got a couple that we've sort of thought of, and then we can run through the ones that you got on Instagram as well.
Are these from you guys?
I've got some from followers, and I've got some that I wanted to ask.
I'm just eating my cream of rice.
Okay, sound. Well, that's sort of one of the ones that we were going to ask. Sort of builds on from what you just said. What was the worst part of prep?
Probably my birthday. I had a fucking mental breakdown and I cried.
Really?
On my birthday. I think, probably that. But no, generally it wasn't that bad. But like compared to some people's preps, which just sound like pure hell. Like, I didn't have to do any cardio. Obviously, it's subjective the amount of food you have, but I was
doing like 400 minutes of cardio a week. It was atrocious.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it pays to have a good off season and to really push your food up, because at the back end of my off season, I was eating near enough to 6,000 calories every day, 1,000 grams of carbs every day. My expenditure was rock bottom. I was probably doing about 2,000 to 3,000 steps. So you got to think you've got all the tools you can play from there. You're on a lot of food, expenditure's low. So I mean, I don't want to say it was a breeze, but it was a lot easier than a lot of people. So it was a challenge, but there wasn't really any standing out bad bits other than having my birthday between the two shows, as I said.
That just shows the importance of preparation prior, because like you said, you've got all the tools to play with there. And sort of how we can relate that to the listeners is making sure before you want to get really lean for summer that you've done a proper muscle building phase and you've committed to those sorts of things. So making sure that you're in a good position to do it rather than running yourself into the ground immediately.
The other thing I would say is if you do want to compete, make sure you've done, a pretty harsh diet phase before. So you've got a bit of an idea of what it's like. That's something we've just done with Jack. Obviously, we didn't get him peeled, but doing an aggressive diet and feeling the suck, basically, experiencing that shit, just being hungry all the time, energy levels being low. You need to like dip your toes in the water, sort of thing first.
I definitely felt major drag, especially that last week. We were running a deload. And there's no.
That's the thing. The hardest thing is just the low energy levels and managing that. rather than, people are like, oh, you're gonna be hungry all the time. Not really. You're gonna be craving, and your energy's gonna be shit. And it's just that every day, and it gets worse and worse.
Yeah, that's what I found. Like, I was a zombie when it came to 5 p.m.
Yeah. You just check out at about 5. It gets the evening, and you're like, I'm just gonna lie in bed and eat. Bring the rice.
Think about eating.
Watching bodybuilders eating as well. And then kitchen nightmares. That's all I was watching. Torturing yourself.
I do that on mini cuts. I can't imagine what I'm going to be like on prep. Keithy West 10,000 calorie challenge.
Oh mate, you need to watch Juan Diesel. Juan Morel. Have you heard of him?
I don't think I do.
Yeah.
Massive IFBB pro bodybuilder. He does like 40,000 calorie cheat days. And he said he used to do that every Sunday. He used to do like a 20,000 calorie cheat day every Sunday, at least. And I think he did it on prep as well.
That's
he does like a cheat day Sunday on prep until
immense.
Maybe like a week out.
How the fuck is he pulling that off?
Just a freak, man.
T3 through the roof.
Fuck's sake.
I wanted to flip on Luke's question, and I feel like there's going to be a predictable answer. So other than show day, what was the best part of prep? Any standout great moments?
Other than the show days. I think probably when you check it, you take a check-in photo and you're just like, fuck, I am actually peeled. Like when you first see your glutes striated and you're like, Jesus, I never thought I would see that before, like reaching that kind of condition. And, that's when, you realize that the hard work has paid off. But no, I know you said other than the show day, but that moment when, they call your name out and you've won, that is incredible.
Yeah, that's got to be fucking insane. All that
was obviously the number one.
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that,
I just really enjoyed being on stage. I can't imagine being the best guy there as well.
Yeah, no, the experience is mad. Like, even if I hadn't won, I would have fucking loved it regardless. It's crazy. It's literally like nothing else I've ever experienced. And I don't know if it's just because you're so fucked from like you're dehydrated, you're a zombie. You feel a bit wonky. Yeah, it's just obviously the music, the atmosphere, it's unreal. And if anybody does want to compete, honestly, it's a surreal experience. And there's nothing like it.
I completely agree with that. It was awesome, and I can't wait to do it again. I just need to build a shitload more muscle first.
Luke's been making something mad progress.
You're gonna stay on the natty route, the natty path
for a good couple of years at least. Yeah.
How old are you now?
21. Oh no, 21 in December. But before prep, I'd never even done a muscle building phase or a proper diet. So like massive mistakes for me there.
How many shows have you done?
I've done 2.
But in the same season?
Yeah.
And when was that? How many years ago?
That was last year. So that's like 13 months ago now.
What, and how long have you been training for?
Like 4 years, but it was like I was working out, I wasn't training. I started training like 18 months ago.
You're gonna make some ridiculous progress. Obviously, you're coached by Matt now as well, aren't you? Yeah.
It's going really well. Like 22 kilos up, and not morbidly obese, so I'll take it.
That is mad.
Mate, you're gonna next time you get on stage, it's gonna be night and day. Honestly.
Yeah, good couple more years, and hopefully it will go pretty damn well.
Speaking of Matt and the Physique Collective in general, that's a question I wanted to ask. Liam, you've been coached by a few different people. I think before you're currently with Gareth from Physique Collective. Before that, it was JP, Jordan Peters. So kind of like, how has that switch been? Because they're very different people in their approaches and their communities as well. So how have you found that?
Be careful what I say. It is obviously, well, Gareth is, first of all, he's the best coach I've ever had, hands down. And I'm not just blowing smoke. No, he honestly is, like, because he actually cares. And that is a sign of a good coach. Obviously, like the knowledge, but they need to actually be passionate and they need to give a shit about you. If you've got a coach and you're not able to message them, between your check-ins, and if the check-in feedback is like a sentence with a colon, closed bracket, smiley face, and don't get me wrong, JP is very knowledgeable, but unless you're a hardcore all-in bodybuilding, potentially an IFBB pro, or trying to go for your pro card, it's not going to work for you. So what I will say, anybody watching this who wants to get a coach, or they're considering it, go for a coach of your caliber. That is, I think, really important. Or somebody who's worked with people of all different, because obviously JP is the most hardcore, optimal, that's his thing. And I didn't really think about that when I signed up with him. Like for example, in the off season, or a bulk, whatever you want to call it, because I wasn't competing then, I wasn't even allowed to have off-plan meals, and I wasn't even allowed to use macros either. It's just, this is what you've got to eat. And I remember saying to him one day, I ran out of avocado, so I had olive oil, or vice versa. I can't remember. He's like, no, you can't do that. It's not accurate. And I was like, but I use my Fitness Pal and I interchange it. The calories matched up. And he's like, no, you're not allowed to do that. And I felt bad to ask him questions. You should never feel like that either. Again, I don't want to talk shit, but I'm sure he's not going to watch this. Anyway, that's my experience.
You never know.
Yeah, it wasn't the most positive experience, but yeah. And now he's blocked me, so that's something different.
What have you found is been the biggest sort of opposite in terms of the approach from JP to the Physique Collective guys and Gareth? What have you found has been the biggest difference between those approaches?
Go down the training route, we can go down the diet route, we can go down the PEDs route. Is there any specific, do you want to be a bit more specific, or?
Yeah, I'd probably say nutrition and training wise.
Right, so nutrition, obviously, as I said, it was just a meal plan. It was literally like really, really super clean foods. Actually, well, to be fair, it wasn't, there were like, I still had some Cocoa Pops and things like that, but it was like sweet potatoes, salmon, white fish, chicken, blueberries, which again is similar to the Physique Collective, but the option, you get the option with the Physique Collective, and it's flexible, which I think is really important. Obviously, when you coach people, you've got to understand that, not everybody's going to want to do that approach, and you have to understand that. But, as I said, JP is that optimal kind of extreme guy. He's not a terrorist. But yeah, like, it's, from the food perspective, it takes a lot of stress away. And you just enjoy the process a lot more. What was the other thing? And yeah, obviously you're allowed to have off-plan meals, which I think for most people is a good idea, unless you want to develop an eating disorder.
Yeah, like before I started working with Matt, I'd be like, oh, can I have an off-plan meal? Like, is this something I should be doing?
Yeah,
and
you shouldn't.
And now I'm like, yeah, of fucking course I'm gonna. Like, I want to be a normal human being.
Yeah,
got to be very careful, because it's easy to develop, anxiety and guilt and stress around food. And what happens when it comes around to Christmas, and you're not going to be tracking you shouldn't be, but I'm sure there will be some people that do, and that's not, I don't think that's okay. I don't think you should be doing that. But yeah, so that's the food side of things. What was the other thing you wanted to know about?
Training wise, yeah.
Training, I feel like, honestly, he copied and pasted it and just sent that to everybody. And whether or not, maybe that is the best training setup he thinks there is, and fair enough. But it didn't change in the 6 months that I was with him. Again, is that okay? It might be, if you're getting stronger, if you're progressing. And I am a firm believer in, rinsing progressive overload. but we've got to consider that enjoyment factor as well. And it's not just about that optimal, that word again.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
no, that
If
is
you don't
literally,
enjoy it, it's not optimal for you at the end of the day.
exactly.
Absolutely, 100%.
You can't stick to it if you're not enjoying it. It's not optimal.
Yeah.
But that is JP. He's that robotic kind of, It's definitely not for everything.
People go down the route of bodybuilding not just because they want to look a certain way, but because they do enjoy it. And once you reach a level, or some people reach a level where the kind of enjoyment almost takes a back seat, and now they're just focused on, I need to progress this.
Realize it either. They don't clock that.
Exactly, yeah.
They just they're going through the emotions. Like, I fucking hate training. Like, I don't like what I'm eating. And you need to recognize that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that was the training and nutrition, right?
Yeah. Shifting gears from that then, what's it like coaching Jack?
Oh, that was a question I got.
Terrible. Nah, man. Obviously, Jack's a great client, but we have had some struggles but the good things that we communicate, and this is the thing, a lot of people, they struggle in silence and they suffer in silence, and they won't explain, they won't give the full story. Jack will tell me if he's had, if he's slipped up on his diet, or, obviously we struggled before in fat loss phases, whatever. But this is the thing, everybody's approach looks completely different, doesn't it? And you've got to find the style or the methodology, the strategies that are going to work for that individual. But yeah, I think we've got a really good understanding and that level of communication, which is key. A lot of guys just shut off, and they don't want to sound like a pussy almost, which it really isn't that at all. But they think it is. But yeah, absolute star client, mate.
Yeah,
I completely agree that communication is ridiculously important. And if Jack would have come to you and said, right, I've slipped up on my diet, and you're going to sit there and bollock him for not sticking to it, well, he's never going to tell you again, and then you've lost that communication. So
that is one thing.
That's why you can't just be hardcore all the time.
Yeah,
there are some coaches who will tell their clients off, and I get when my clients are like, "Oh, sorry, I did this." I'm like, "Why are you sorry?"
Yeah,
you apologize to yourself. I don't care. No, obviously I care, but
yeah.
You've slipped up. I would just be like, okay, mate, back on it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Forget it ever happened. Try not to make a habit of it. Thank you for obviously telling me, because that trust and that communication needs to be there. But yeah, no, it's better. I think people, like I said, they struggle and they don't say that. And then how are you supposed to improve it when you don't even know there's a problem? And then they just give up because they think, oh, this is the only way and it doesn't work for me, so I'm just going to quit.
Yeah, having a good communication with your coach is important. And
especially long term.
Yeah, it's good to be able to share your experiences, because say if I've been in a diet and I have done this, I've slipped up, I've binged, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Liam, I'm going to be like, here's what's happened, how can I amend this, how can I prevent this from happening? And then you kind of start to understand your own thought processes. If I buy a tub of Ben & Jerry's and tell myself I'm going to have a tablespoon, that's fucking lie. I'm going to finish the tub. So I'm not going to buy it in the first place, because I'm only going to buy it if I'm okay with finishing the entire thing.
That's what I'm doing at the minute.
Yeah.
So I'd rather get like a Halo top, something like that.
And finish it.
Then I can easily fit that into my macros or my calories, whatever. And, I can eat the whole thing, because, that kind of trigger food thing, I can't, it's like things like cereal. If I have a box of cereal in my house, I'll probably just start yamming it at 3 in the morning. I wake up in the middle of the night, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting individual portion size things is the best way to do it, I think. And then
that's a problem.
Fitting that in.
I think that's a problem that a lot of people have, because we've been told from the age of 2 or whatever it is, finish your plate and then you get dessert. So we like when we go to a restaurant, we're like, oh, I've got to finish the plate. Even if I'm a little bit full, I've got to finish it. Whereas everybody's different. Like obviously you'd be able to power through a whole box of cereal. Whereas I'm at the point now where I'm like, I'm 100 grams and I'm good. Like I do not
Wish
care.
that was me. Well, I don't.
I'm sure you'll get to that point again.
I just want to be like
so
in the middle.
satiated.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah,
hell,
it's not a fun
it's
place
hell
to be.
either end of the spectrum, isn't it? Like you're either starving or you're force feeding. But then there's
That
that sweet
sounds about right. How has it been since prep so far then?
the first week or so post finals, that was really tough because obviously you've got that freedom and you're like, right, I haven't eaten all this shit for 6 months and I want to eat it all now. And you're like, obviously the food's always going to be there. You don't need to rush to eat it, but your brain doesn't think like that. You just like, right, today I'm going to have pizza, ice cream, burgers, cookies, sushi, all that shit. But, yeah, it's I think everybody binges post-show. It's very hard to not. And I definitely did, for almost on and off for a week straight. Not crazy. There were a few crazy ones, but after that first week, I think the other thing is you've got to get that body fat back on anyway to function normally, just to, get your energy levels back, actually be able to train and enjoy it and get your sex drive back, things like that. But yeah, the second week, well, this week, what is it? Yeah. Is it third week now? I don't know. But anyway, it's much better, much less food focus, not binging, just having like one, I'm going to call it a cheat meal because, it is a free off-plan meal, but I do turn it into a bit of a cheat meal. But like tomorrow I'm going out for dinner. So I'm just going to have probably like protein and veg for 3 meals prior to that. So then I've essentially banked my carbs and fats for that as well. And, it's only one day of the week. So,
yeah.
I'm on 4,000 calories a day near enough. So I'm not going to do too much damage.
Yeah, that's a decent amount. The issue is like when you've got somebody who's like a small female or a smaller guy, and they like if they have a Domino's, that's their caloric intake for the day done with. Whereas once like the longer you've been training, the more muscle you've got, you can start to fit things like meals out in a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah.
This is why you
should
should train to build muscle so you can eat more.
Yeah.
People don't think that. They don't realize that. To kind of almost upregulate your metabolism by having more tissue on your skeleton that isn't fat, you'll be able to eat more food and not get fat.
Yeah, rather than eating back the calories from your cardio, train to build muscle, and then you can eat more calories forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. I don't think a lot of people realize that though.
Yeah.
I think that muscle is just like a look or just to be strong. But there's so many other benefits.
Yeah, that is a very good point.
So rolling on with some questions, I've got kind of like a 2-in-1 here. What is the most prep brain moment that you had and the worst prep purchase?
Who's that from?
Let me find it. Hang on. I've written them down. Let me find a screenshot.
You now, aren't you? I did it.
Yeah, it's me.
I had a right stupid one. So the car parks, like where you have to pop the ticket in to pay for whatever. I've just come back from a braces appointment, and I'm not even joking. I was there for like 10 minutes trying to find the right place to put the ticket, and there's a big fuck off thing like the size of my face that says ticket with an arrow. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? What am I doing?
I can't think. I literally can't think of what a prep brain moment.
He's still got it. That's why.
Nah, definitely not. What was the other question you asked? Prep brain moment.
Worst prep purchase.
Oh, I don't think there's anything in particular, like a one-off thing, but I just bought so many clothes. Like, Depop, the app.
Yeah.
Like I was literally
That's dangerous.
I was buying an item of clothing every day. Not even
Ooh.
joking. But yeah, no, I think just generally just a lot of clothes, trainers. Anybody who knows me knows I've got a lot of shoes.
Yeah, I've seen the trainers on the story.
Yeah, I've got like 3 or 4 pairs probably in the last month. And they're all worth, a fair bit of money. So prep brain moment, I don't know. I can't think of one, to be honest. Just a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah, you just do stuff when you're like, why am I like this?
Yeah, literally. Oh man, it will come to me in a minute. When I remember, I'll say.
Yeah, no worries. I've got one that I sort of want to ask a little bit selfishly. What is a piece of advice that you would give to young guys like me who are fairly new to coaching?
Ooh.
I don't know why you're asking me that. I've only been coaching properly since I started pretty much when the first lockdown hit. I was a PT before that. I did have a couple of people online, but I didn't really know. Like I'd never had a coach, so I wasn't sure on how to deliver the service. So, I mean, anybody who wants to start out as a coach, that's the first thing I would do is get a coach. You should not be delivering a service unless you've had that service yourself. And then the other thing is definitely invest into a business mentor. So those 2 things, I feel definitely that getting a coach is essential. The mentor is definitely advisable. But just be consistent, literally the same as you would be with your training, and just post value. So give as much free shit to your followers as you can, and make sure it's actually useful to the people that you're trying to get on board with you. Because if you're talking about fucking moment arms and resistance profiles, and your niche is like Jane who's trying to lose 5 pounds, she won't care about that. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is people like identifying your niche basically, and then making sure that the content you're putting out aligns with them and it's actually going to be useful. And I think a lot of guys, obviously you two, for example, you're very knowledgeable, but that is it can almost hinder you, because you're going to be trying to put out that knowledge, which is just going to resonate with other coaches who probably already have a coach.
Yeah,
100%. Going to buy into
100%.
And I know it's something I definitely used to do, and I was like, I really need to dumb down my content and stop using like the jargon and shit like that, and just explain it in plain English, like layman's terms.
Like if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough, essentially.
Yeah,
so that's something that I'm trying to do as much as possible.
I can see through that straight away. I see people like talking all this shit, and I'm like, it doesn't even make sense what you're saying. You're just like regurgitating fancy words and stringing them together, and it's not helping anyone. It's not impressive either, but yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, fair enough.
And the other thing is, you need to be prepared to, number one, probably lose money at the start by, as I said, investing, whether it be in a coach, mentor, both, and whatever else that you put into business. And then also giving away for free. So coaching people for free, because nobody's gonna, who's gonna get a coach and pay them if they can't see any results or like reviews or testimonials. So you need to get that kind of that portfolio of, evidence, essentially, that social proof showing you working with people. And yeah, it probably will have to be for free at the start. I know I definitely did. I did just for my mates, like, even if it's just the training and giving them macros.
Yeah.
When I started, I took on 5 people for free, and like looking back at it, I'm like, I should have done like 10 or 15.
Yeah,
just to get more experience working with people.
The only issue is obviously when people aren't paying, they don't value it as much. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely
just the way your brain works.
Early on, I definitely struggled with people saying, "Oh yeah, I'm really dedicated. I'm really interested." And then you give them a plan, you give them the nutrition, they'll be like, "Yeah, fantastic," and then you just don't hear from them. And because there's no buy-in, there's almost nothing holding them accountable, and it's kind of like up to them on the day whether they want to do it or not. And
What's that
early
kind of
on,
urgency? Because
yeah,
you paid for a month, you need to get the most out of that month, don't you?
yeah,
And you know your money's going to come out next month, so you've got to be on it all the time.
yeah.
So yeah, it is accountability pretty much.
Early on, it's so hard to get that momentum, but once you do get that momentum, you've got physiques to showcase, you've got results, and when you're putting out value, that's when I feel like the ball starts to get rolling.
Yeah, that's the thing. It snowballs once you get it going, but initially to gain that momentum is very, very hard. And I think that's when most people give up, because they're like, oh, like, I've given it a go for a month and nothing's really happened. But as I said, you're probably gonna lose money at the start. You're not gonna be making a profit, but you got to think more long term. And it's the same with physique development. People don't think long term enough.
I've been to the
Especially
gym
like
6 days this week. Why aren't I shredded?
Exactly, mate.
Literally,
You should be.
like people. A lot of people drop off this kind of time of year because they're like, oh, summer's done. But you know, what about like preparing yourself for 2023? What
Yeah,
about a bit of get some body fat off before Christmas,
yeah,
so that you don't bloat to the size of a house. But you know, people don't think like that. Everybody's impatient nowadays. You know, we've got everything at the click of our fingers. So
yeah. Right, I think we will let you go. Is there any kind of parting words or of wisdom? God, I can't even fucking talk now.
oh wait, do we have any more questions?
You got time
We've
for a
got
couple
some-
more questions?
Yeah, a couple more.
I've got one that I want to ask. This is from me. What was your mindset pre and on stage? So when you were backstage, when you were going out, what was that like, mindset wise?
Honestly, just adrenaline. You're not really thinking about that at that point. You know, the work's done. You've done what you can. You're peaked. Obviously, you're not going to be any leaner. I was just literally practicing posing, pumping up, and I was like, look, I'm just going to bring my best, enjoy it. That was the main thing. I just want to go out there and enjoy it, and you know, just make sure I'm presenting myself to the best of my ability. But yeah, obviously, I was very nervous, like the anticipation of it. But when you're up there, just adrenaline just takes over. You're not nervous at all. I wasn't, but yeah.
Fair play. Also, if you got time for one more,
Yeah, mate, I'm not in a rush. I mean, I've got like probably 5-10 minutes.
Cool. What would you change, if anything, about this past prep or preps? Because it's been multiple shows.
What would I change?
Yeah, if you were going to do it again, is there anything that you would change?
I think I'd start doing my steps earlier, as in like I remember Gareth was like, oh, we should probably start doing like 10,000 steps now, and I was like, nah. But like if I had done them from the start of prep, I would have been able to diet on more food probably. That's probably it. I don't know what else. Maybe practice posing a bit more. You can never be too good at posing, I don't think. You know, and just the confidence as well that's going to come with that. I do think I could have got a bit more condition as well. You know, like my prep wasn't perfect. I slipped up a few times. I did, you know, I wasn't perfectly sticking to my diet plan, and I even had a couple binges as well. But yeah, it would probably be those things.
Definitely. Luke, you got anything?
Just a rapid fire one. What's your SBD numbers?
So, anybody watching this who doesn't know, I did used to be a powerlifter.
Yes.
So what do we want? Gym? Do you just want my heaviest ever, or like in a meet or in the gym?
Yeah. Gym numbers.
Yeah.
Gym numbers are sound.
Right. So I haven't squat for literally years. Actually, well, I squat in lockdown, but I wasn't doing 1 rep maxes. So the heaviest I've ever squat was 270. And I was actually natty when I did that.
Natural
bench
squat.
press.
What was body weight?
Ooh, probably like
90 something?
probably a little bit less than I am now, actually. So I would say low 90s and maybe mid 90s. I want to say like 93 to 96, somewhere around that region. And that was just wearing knee sleeves, not wraps. I've never worn wraps. There is a video of that on my Insta. So that's squat. Bench, I did 180 for 3. That was that was the beginning of this year, actually.
I remember seeing that, and then I went out on bench.
Big George spotted me. Mate, I you know what? When I did that, I hadn't bench pressed in about 2 years. But you know, you get the carryover from the other lifts. So I'd been doing, you know, like heavy flat dumbbell. I think I did like the 70s for 10 around that time as well.
Remember that.
So yeah, you do get a good carryover, but no, it was fucking risky, man. My pec, I'm sure I like got a minor tear. It was fucked for ages. And then deadlift, I think I did 300 for 3 on a deadlift bar. I think it was 3. And then I did sumo 310. That was natty as well. And that was in One Life, Jack.
Oh,
and you know how shitty the bars were in there.
That was
shitty commercial gym bars. No straps either, hook grip, but I did drop it at lockout because those bars like spin.
Yeah.
I
remember the shitty local gym to me and Liam. Oh my god.
Fattest bumper plates, you know, those like CrossFit ones that are like a bar tire.
Okay, now
those are my PBs, my SPD.
That's mad. That is mad.
Fair play. I am out of questions. I can't lie, man.
Got any? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, have you got any questions on the question boxes that you put up?
I got one that was just kind of general. Feel fat? Should I mini cut? Which is
You're fat. Get the fat off.
It's hard to say though, because some people have such a negativity bias towards like how they look. They just like, you might be someone
get a coach.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, there you go. That's
the thing is, like, you're not going to be kind of biased and you're like, yeah, I'm fat. You need someone to tell you you're fat, because you might not be. And the thing is, like, are you too fat to push up? Is your appetite shot? You know, digestion, health markers, whatever. Yeah. But generally, I'd say if you're going to start a bulk, you do want a good lean foundation, just so that you've got the runway, so that you can gain for, you know, whatever, at least 3 months.
Yeah, it's hard to direct someone whether or not to cut or bulk. It's a question that you probably get in your DMs quite a lot. I know that I do.
Easiest question you can ask yourself is, am I prepared to gain more body fat than I currently have? No, more so mentally than physically, because a lot of people aren't.
True.
You know, I don't really want to gain much more fat than I have now, but I know that for my goals, if I want to gain considerable amounts of muscle, I do need to do that. But that's what it boils down to. It's really simple. Most of the time, anyway.
Fair enough. Luke?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I completely agree. Something which I think would be good to ask, which was one of the ones I got in the question box, was, do you struggle with body comp changes during your bulk and cutting phases?
Ooh.
This specifically at me?
No, just like generally.
Well, like dealing with having more body fat, like mentally sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate being fat. And like anybody who's known me from like young, like I was always quite skinny. Like my body type is, I hate to say it, but like more so ectomorph.
Get out.
Like I am not naturally a big person. But like, again, look at my parents. They're not like broad, you know, like, you know, mesomorph, whatever. I used to be really, really skinny, high metabolism, hard gainer, all that shit. So I think my body is more suited to being leaner. And obviously, you know, when you gain body fat, you lose your facial aesthetics and things like that, which is probably the thing that bothers me the most. I don't care about getting fat on my body as much. I actually quite like being a bit bigger. You know, you just feel a bit more powerful. You feel strong in the gym, things like that. But yeah, no, I don't like getting the fat fucking hamster cheeks. But then again, like, I don't really like having the crackhead diet face either. So right now I'm kind of in that.
Yeah, there's
sweet
that a
spot.
couple week period where you actually feel like a decent person.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely not that, but terrible person.
I think the hardest points for me is directly after the end of a diet when you're quite lean and you kind of have to come to terms with like, okay, the scale is going to start to go up now. And especially personally, like as soon as that food starts to go up, I just crave more and more and more. And I
Wait
want
until you do a show.
and
I'm
like,
gonna die.
and it's
like that, but times 100.
yeah, I can't imagine it. It's like currently I'm watching the scale go up while remaining ravenous, while also watching my body slowly gain fat. And it's the
This is what I was saying. It's good that you've done this because now you've got a taste for it. You've got an idea of kind of what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
So that it's not going to be an absolute shock to the system. You know?
For sure. My last mini cut, the push up after that was fucking horrific for me. Like
I mean the previous one. Yeah, I mean we fucked it basically. You went on holiday, didn't you?
Yeah, I fucked that one fully.
So is that all?
No, though.
Is that all of your questions, you guys?
Yeah. I think that's everything that I had.
Yeah, man. I've got some more general ones if you've got time.
Do you want to hear the ones that I've got?
Yeah, go on. Drop them.
Do we want just the serious ones?
Ones that you think would be entertaining to watch on a podcast. Some of them just
I'll do the serious one, like just get them out of the way. There's only one, I think. So somebody asked cardio before or after weight training.
After.
It depends on your goals, but yeah, for us, I would say definitely after.
Yeah, if your goal is
what if you're doing some fasted cardio? If you're using like lipolytics and
I was sort of taking it in the context of you've got 2 hours in the gym, you're going to do some weights, you're going to do some cardio. Yeah, if you can separate it,
it's not very much detail there, I guess, but it really does depend on the scenario.
Yeah, if you want to do it fasted, then you can do it fasted. That's fine. If you're natural, there's not many benefits. If you're in the gym for a set amount of time, then do it after because it's going to be easier to increase training performance and perform well and actually progress your lifts.
That's what I will say. It's just obviously you want to put as much emphasis on your training performance as possible.
Yeah.
Because your goal should be to, at the very least, retain muscle, if not to, try your best to gain it, which is going to be your best bet to retain it as well. Whether or not you are actually going to be accruing new tissue is a different story. But yeah, cardio is just expenditure. It's just to get you into a deficit.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the health benefits, but who the fuck cares about that? But yeah, no. If you are using, certain compounds that are only going to be effective in a fasted state, for example, your himbine, even if you're natural, you can use that as well. You would have to do some. It doesn't need to be cardio, but I would just go out for a walk for about half an hour, like a fast-paced walk. But yeah, no. Generally, I would say if you're going to do cardio, if you need to do cardio post-training, probably.
Give us the next one. Keep them firing through, man.
Right. So the next one, the next lot are going to be just stupid.
Yes.
So the first one is how many?
So we'll be okay.
You want
how many?
It's all good. Carry on, Liam.
How many fingers have you managed to fit up your rectum?
Should we all try now?
Am I bulking? Are my fingers fat?
Oh, GH fingers.
Yeah, how much water am I retaining in my hands right now?
I'd say probably like 3.
I feel like 3 is an average number for
the average finger.
Yeah.
Again, depends on the ratio of sphincter diameter to forefinger width, bro. What moment arm am I using to leverage my fingers?
Surely, there is a correlation of sphincter diameter to finger circumference.
Well, surely if you're a bigger human, you've got bigger fingers, you've got a bigger arsehole, so it would
It's
be
going to be the same for most people,
Fair.
unless you're often putting things up there. But
Have I done legs that day?
what difference does that make? Does it make it looser?
No, but I feel like it might have an effect on things.
Fingers might be swollen. Got them trapped in the hack squat. You had a prolapse mid pendulum.
Oh,
The next one is: would you rather have toes for fingers or fingers for toes?
My toes are horrific, so definitely fingers for toes.
100%, yeah. Your stability on a squat or a hinge.
Yeah, you'd be like a little ape. You'd be able to like hang off trees and shit with your feet. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Wait, but do they switch, or do you just have two sets of fingers?
Two sets of hands.
Yeah, definitely that.
Yeah,
You could fucking
sure.
write with your foot.
Isn't that what I swear monkeys do have like finger feet?
Yeah, pretty much. We just fucking evolved like retards.
Why do we have feet? Honestly, get them gone.
Why would you want toe hands, man? They would fucking stink. No, they wouldn't.
They're not in socks and shoes.
Yeah, but you'd have to wear like gloves, like stumpy little gloves. Let me see if I've got any more. How big is your dick on flop? Average, painfully.
Below average, half.
Always below average.
Ask me about, is it girth or length?
Yeah, what are we talking? What dimensions? What unit? Imperial, metric?
How many cc's is your pecker? The last one is, well, this could be, this could go down a bit of a rabbit hole, but what is the greatest caramelized biscuit product on the market right now? Let's change it to the one that you've actually tried, because you don't know if it's the best unless you tried it. And now I will say I've tried many, especially in the past couple of weeks. I think I've tried 20 different variations, but do you guys want to go first? What's the best like Biscoff sort of thing you've ever had?
It'd have
Jack,
to be.
I feel like you just don't eat that shit.
Who?
I swear I've never seen you eat like anything Biscoff.
Me?
Yeah.
Brev. I literally off-plan meal with my missus. There's a brownie place near here. I got a Biscoff brownie. Fucking immense.
Was it a blondie or a brownie?
It was a brownie.
I prefer blondies. I think they're better.
Yeah,
chocolate.
Yeah.
For
something like Biscoff, yeah, it's got to be a blondie, I reckon.
But I haven't been on the chocolate recently because it's been just ruining my stomach.
Tell you what does bang. Have you ever been to like Food Warehouse or like Iceland?
Yeah.
It's the same thing pretty much, isn't it? They've got some like exclusive Biscoff stuff there. Like Viennetta ice cream cake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
They've got a Biscoff one of them.
Oh my god,
mate, that is insane.
Oh,
I think I had that last year. It's like 1,000 calories. Obviously, I yammed it all. Tell you what, though, the cookie dealers are overrated, man.
I don't get the point. What, they're really high in calories. Are they really that good though?
Not really. They're very like dense as well.
I'd rather eat like 5 300-calorie cookies than one 1,500 calorie cookie.
But they're like a brick. It's not like a. Have you ever seen one in person?
No.
Like in real life?
The last one I had, I threw up.
Really?
I finished it and I threw up my entire off-plan meal. And I was
they are like really, really sickly. I've eaten like 2 and a pizza and ice cream in one sitting, and it's just.
Come on, that's my coach.
I can eat.
Best Biscoff, probably either. I think Costa did like a nice cake. It's like got like fucking like Biscoff icing, and it's like, oh mate, it just looks sick. And they put a little Biscoff fucking like those Oreo Biscoffs on top. You seen them?
Oh yeah, the sandwich cream.
Yeah. Oh, they're so good.
I've eaten probably about 50 of them. So show.
I've not heard of any of this stuff.
Or Biscoff
Yeah,
spread.
just like, the Biscoff biscuits, but they've got Biscoff like cream in between them.
That
It's like a
sounds
custard cream sort of thing, but Biscoff.
Oh, custard creams are fucking elite as well.
Not quite on the Biscoff level though.
Biscoff is immense.
I don't know what the number one is though. I would say probably like, I don't know what brand it is, with the Biscoff cheesecake you can get in like Waitrose, Sainsbury's. Cheesecake is just the shit. It's like the most calorie dense food on the planet. Neutron star edible variant. Yeah, I probably need to shoot now actually.
Fair play, man. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you
on.
very much for coming
anyway.
on.
No worries, boys. We'll do it again at some point.
Any parting words of wisdom before you head off for the audience?
Meth and hail Satan.
Wow.
See-
And take Primo. Lots of gallons of Primo. No, I'm joking. Stay safe.
All
Don't
right,
take
man.
drugs.
Cheers.
Cheers. See you later.
Have a good one, man. Take it easy.
Hello, boys.
See ya. Right, keep it going.
What a gangster.
Yeah, there we go. That's my coach, everyone. We don't endorse anything he says. In fact, we actively oppose it.
Do not take Primo.
Never. Oh, are you wearing a 1MR jumper I see there?
Yeah, I am. I was just about to take it off because I'm literally sweating my tits off. There
Oh,
we go.
feel free, Luke. Feel free. Let's get
I've
some
got
sex appeal.
I've got a one in my beanie as well. Okay, you talk to people for about 2 seconds while I take this off.
Well, this is a perfect opportunity I put my car up on my story. I blurred the license plate, or I covered it. And people ask me what my car's name is. Now, this is a bit embarrassing and a little bit weird, but I feel like it might be funny. My white VW Polo is called Meg. She is called Meg because she's named after Meg Sylvester Celine. Because for those who don't know, that is Cuba's wife. Because I like Cuba because my car is white and Meg's hair is white and my car is Wham and so is Meg. So
I've just remembered that we could have just edited this bit out while I took my jumper off and you didn't have to expose yourself that embarrassingly. But if you want to keep that in, you are more than welcome.
Oh God, I'm not gonna hear the end of this.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. Every week I'm gonna ask you how Meg is. Every single week.
A mate of mine, Noah, shout out Noah. When we went to Ultraflex, he was like, if Cuba's there, I'm gonna bait you out and say that you named the car after his wife. And I was like, no, genuinely, please don't do that because it is so weird. But yeah, that is set in stone now. My girlfriend believes, or she did believe, I've told her the truth now because I wanted to clear the air, but she believed that Meg was short for Megatron. And I had to break it to her.
Fucking sick, bro.
I know, but I had to break it to her that no, I've named it after another woman, an actual real life woman.
Oh, banging question.
Yeah.
Favorite Transformer.
We'll
We'll go Decepticon and Autobot.
This guy knows. I love it.
Yeah.
My favorite Decepticon is probably Soundwave because he's got all those pets and shit. He's got his little like fucking in the cartoon. He's got like I forget their names now. He's got like a little flying bird. He's got like another guy. He's got some cool buddies with him. My favorite Autobot, I don't know, like Jetfire, one of the flying ones. They're cool. They fly.
Yeah, the flying ones are fucking cool. Wasn't he the one who I can't remember the name of the plane, but he was like the really old guy in the second.
Yeah. Oh, he's shit in the movies. He's better in the cartoons. Real fans only.
Oh, I haven't watched the cartoons.
Oh, mate, that's all I do all day. I don't coach. People send me a message. They're like, "Oh, I need my meal plan updated." I'm like, "Sorry, bro. Season 3, episode 2, innit?" That's a joke.
My mind has now gone completely blank.
Transformers.
Yeah, man.
I'm trying to think of.
I want to watch the films again.
There's the really big one who's made up of the other little ones in the second one.
Wasn't he a bad guy?
Yeah, he's a Decepticon.
He was made up of all of them, and he had the big fucking like blowy hands and shit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking weird. who was the one that I liked? He's a plane. He's a Decepticon.
Starscream.
He was like Megatron's right hand man.
Starscream, bro.
Yeah, that guy. He was cool.
Yeah, he's got a nice V taper actually on him.
Yeah, he's got good lat spread, bro. I can't remember the name of the Autobot that I liked. I just know it was fucking green.
He's green.
Yeah.
Ratchet.
Maybe. I don't know.
The guy that was a medic.
Yeah, he was fucking cool, actually.
Yeah, that's Ratchet, bro. I got you.
I'm so watching these films. I'm so watching.
Same, bro.
Yeah. We need to ask John this question next week, see what he says.
He's going to be like, I've never watched them, and we're going to have to kick him off the pod.
What the fuck? He's going to be like, what the fuck is Transformers?
What's a Deceptatron, bro?
I'm sorry for anyone that's listened to the last.
Well, this is fucking devolved.
Yeah, let's cut this bit as well.
It's just going to be a podcast of us being like, yeah, we will edit this out later on. I think we've got a good.
It's all shit.
We've got a good length of time, so let's end on something strong, like a couple questions, wrap something up useful, and then leave.
Oh, okay. My girlfriend doesn't like when I go to the gym. Any advice?
Oh,
this isn't me. This is a question I got.
Yeah, no, I didn't think so. The first thing to do is ask her why. Is that a byproduct of you just not prioritizing a relationship enough? The first thing to find out is how valid is she in that, and then the second thing is to react accordingly. If you go to the gym twice a week and then you spend the rest of your life with her, like constantly with her, it's a little bit like, okay, she's being unreasonable, or maybe she has a point. That's something that you've just talked to her, man. She's your girlfriend. You should be able to talk to her.
Yeah, that is a good part. Any ending words of wisdom?
Don't have girlfriends. Instead,
yeah, they do suck. Most of them really, really suck, but you learn valuable lessons from each one, and you go, this one did shit that I don't like. And then if you spot that one, that's a red flag. If you spot anyone else do that, and then you tell them to fuck off.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, don't get a girlfriend. Instead, eat women for the protein.
Right.
Or men. Eat people. Preferably, I would say that these people have to be fully grown adults. Not only because it would be cruel to eat someone who's still in their developmental years, but because adults have the highest muscle mass typically. So that's, fantastic from a macro standpoint, an adult man or woman. But yeah, just be a perfect bodybuilder, live in a hole, train, eat, go to sleep, and then repeat.
But most importantly, listen to the podcast.
Yeah, if you've listened this far, listen to the podcast.
Listen to every single episode. And do you know what would actually be sick as well? Somebody shouted us out last week. So it'd be sick is if you've made it through all of this shit, all the way to the end, take a little screenshot, be like, this is the best fucking podcast ever. Tag us, and we would really, really appreciate that.
If you've made it this far into the podcast and we make merch, because this is something that I do want to do, I do want to make merch for the podcast. If we make merch, I will write down your name and I will make sure that you get first pick of merch and or get it free, depending on how much it costs. But
I don't condone Jack's behavior.
I'll tank the hit. I'll be like, yeah, pair of socks, £2. There you go.
You're really gonna regret saying that, bro. Right. Okay. Thank you very much to everyone who's listened. Thank you once again to Liam, who has come on, although I doubt he's probably going to watch to this point. But yeah, we have got another guest on next week. We will have the return of Jono, and you will have more bullshit from Jack and I.
Horrid.
So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. I'm going to try and find the button to end the recording now. There it is. See you later, everyone.
Bye.